Hello, I'm Nate the Effin' Great, and what did I just watch? Finally time, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed time for me to review the ACW 18 show. I've been pushing this off for about a week. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of things that have been going on. Some personal deals as well as some professional deals as well as getting back into the work routine. Just a lot going on, and finally I've taken the time to finally just review the show that happened in Oshkosh in perhaps one of the most interesting places, the Oshkosh Masonic Center. So, I'm going to go into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the show, as well as some things that are going on with Wisconsin Pro Wrestling, WPW, because they made a huge announcement this past week, and it's a lot of build-up going into their Stadiumania show in July. So, going to talk a little bit about that later on. Before we get into that, you guys, I have to show a couple of thank yous to the referees that were a part of the show. TJ, Jimmy Diamond, aka Aaron, you guys did such an amazing job. Just the interaction that you guys had with the wrestlers, as well as the interaction you had with the crowd, just loved it. Every single bit of it is just awesome. Keep up the good work, you guys. You definitely deserve it. The fans that showed up to Oshkosh, you guys made the show possible, and you made it so that these guys could definitely have just a great time. And not only that, just showing that, again, independent wrestling is indeed the place to be, and it is just always awesome just seeing all these fans and getting a chance to talk to them, getting a chance to socialize with them. It's just really cool to see that and show how much appreciation you have for independent wrestling. And of course, got to send a thank you out to all the stars, to all the people that made ACW possible. It's because of you guys that company continues to strive and just continues to grow. You guys do an amazing job. And whatever I say on this podcast, guys, don't take it personally. This is just from what I view as a wrestling fan. And at the same time, I have to be impartial. I have to be fair. But thank you guys so much for what you guys did. The ACW show, all honesty, you guys, was a good show. I'm going to share my thoughts and my feelings on a couple of these matches and give you guys kind of like a final summary, I guess you could say, of everything that's going on for that, as well as a couple of things that they have actually announced for the upcoming show. We know that at the ACW show in July at the Tanner's Bar, Ken Anderson, Mr. Anderson, will defend his ACW Heavyweight Championship, but who is he going to be facing? Is he going to be facing Sadis, or is he going to be facing Joey Avalon? Well, I'm going to get into that a little bit later on, so let's just get right into it, you guys. The first thing that happened at this show was the Dream Police that came out. Well, 2/3 of the Dream Police came out. It was their manager and one of the competitors. They came out, and they talked about having a great show at the WrestleCon and how all the fans were there just, showing their appreciation for the victory. They won the tag team titles, and basically what happens is that they dropped their manager. Their manager just got beat down, and it was kind of one of those confusing deals to me because I really don't know too much about the Dream Police's history, but they seemed like they were general baby faces and that they were very, very over with the crowd, and then just having this one guy who looks like the Hamburglar just turn on his manager for reasons because he was holding him back. So you won the tag team titles, and the best way that you can celebrate is to just beat the crap out of one of the guys who supported you for a long time. Well, that sounds like wrestling 101 right there. It was just really bizarre for me to see that. I think from a wrestling standpoint, it was bizarre because not very many people, have a championship celebration victory and then they just decide, you know what, screw this guy, he's nothing, he doesn't deserve it, just blah blah blah. Just, it was really weird. I mean, even from a standpoint, from a guy who hasn't known the Dream Police for that long, it was just really, really weird. But you know what? I guess they need to have another heel tag team on the show, so I guess it makes sense in a way. I don't know. It was just a bizarre way to open up the show. First matchup on the card was the ACW Water City Championship matchup. Peter Schwann's defending against Big Mike Morris. This was an awesome way to start off the show. Big Mike, he's just really good in the ring. For a guy his size, he is basically a human wrecking ball. But he's able to do so much in the ring. And Peter Schwann's is just so talented in the ring. Definitely deserves to be the champion. This matchup, again, very good. Mike definitely used a lot of his power, his strength, his offense to have an advantage. He definitely used his size to really make Peter just look like absolute nothing. And Peter Schwann's definitely showed his speed, his athleticism to counteract that, and it put on a really good matchup to start the show. Match ended with Mike going to the top. Well, I believe it was the second rope, actually. He was basically saying he was going to the top rope, but then Devin the Dick Drake comes out, and as payback for eliminating him from the $5,000 Battle Royal, distracts Big Mike as well as the referee. This allows Peter Schwann's to take the title, bonk Mike in the head, and cover him for the 1, 2, 3, retaining his championship. And his victory would be only short-lived because we got a nice little video package from the one Young Money, Mr. Colin Brooks. Honestly, guys, one of my favorite guys to watch on the independent scene. So young and he's so talented. He's really good in the ring. Just awesome. He basically has a video where he says, you can't, yeah, you beat me at WrestleCon, but you also used a handful of tights. And I've won every championship that I could possibly hold, but I want that Water City Championship, and I'm going to get it one way or another. And guys, you're going to be pleased to know that Mr. Colin is going to get his rematch at Tanner Club. He is going to be involved in a triple threat match for the ACW Water City Championship. It's going to be him versus Peter Schwann's versus Mr. T Dub 3, who is also in action. And I'm going to get into that matchup a little later on. Like I said, great matchup to start the show, and I am loving everything that's going on. And I do believe that they're going to continue the feud with Devin and Mike, which makes sense. I mean, Mike eliminated Devin from the Battle Royal, and now Devin has cost Mike the ACW Water City Championship. So there's going to be a very good feud in the future. I can feel it. The next matchup on the card was Gorgeous Jordy Lee taking on the A-list Justin Dredd. So, here's the thing. Jordy Lee I don't know a heck of a lot about, but I've seen him wrestle quite a few times. Here's the thing. He is tremendous as a heel. He does a really great job. He definitely knows how to get a lot of heat. As a babyface, I don't know how I feel about him. He seems very generic. He seems very not as, babyface, maybe not as babyface and as over as I would think that a lot of people think he is. I don't know. I just don't see him that much as a babyface. The A-list Justin Dredd, he came out with the sunglasses and the scarf. He basically looked like a combination of The Miz and Chris Jericho, so I thought that was kind of cool. Justin Dredd, definitely his moveset was very well done. Jordy Lee, he did some pretty good moves. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really high on Jordy Lee, which, I know a lot of people are just going to be saying, oh, why is that? I don't know. It's just one of those things where you just have it in your feeling where it's like, I don't feel like he's really, that over. I mean, there are people that were definitely cheering for Jordy Lee. I was just kind of like, he was okay. The ending of the matchup was probably what really kind of got me still on that fence about him. Justin Dredd went to the top rope, was going for a 450 splash, and Jordy Lee got out of the way Thankfully, Justin Dredd was able to land on his feet, no problem. And then Joey Lee rolls him up for the 1-2-3. It's just interesting way to end the matchup. It was okay. It was one of those things where I thought, well, okay. I mean, I understood why they did this. Justin Dredd was eliminated by Joey Lee, and then Joey Lee got eliminated by Justin Dredd because, that's what a heel does. This feud, it's okay. I mean, the matchup itself was okay. It wasn't, overly impressive. But in all honesty, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up more with Justin Dredd. And maybe Joey Lee, after a while, will grow on me. But so far, he's not there yet. So, but I mean, I'm just one person, and he probably has 1,000 fans. So, I'm probably just one of those, grain of salts where it's just whatever. We got a promo from Joey Jet Avalon, and boy, was this promo on fire. Joey Avalon is just really good on the mic. He comes out and he talks about how he basically blames the fans for the reason why he lost the ACW heavyweight title, and that he was going to plan on beating Sadist. He was planning on defeating Mr. Anderson at the Tanner show, and that he was going to walk out with the title. So basically pulling a CM Punk angle, which, would have been interesting. I don't know how it would have played out, because maybe he would just go to a couple of wrestling companies and just, walk in saying hey, I'm the undisputed champion, and I'm this. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's not as... I don't think it would have been as impressive as the CM Punk deal, where he could have taken the WWE title and wrestled all around the world, or like AJ Styles, where he won the TNA World title and he was wrestling all around the world, stuff like that. But it still would have been interesting to see what would have happened. Sadist would eventually come out, and he would say that this matchup means everything to him, and he turns it back to one day. And that was back in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. He talks about a matchup that they had and that people were going electric for. They said it was the match of the year for ACW, and that he was so close to winning, but Avalon took that away from him with a low blow, rolling him up 1-2-3, and beating him. And that's just one of those things that just drove him to wanting this matchup and to wanting to just destroy Avalon. And he says that he's won so many titles, but that ACW title is very important to him, and he wants to win that championship. He wants to beat Mr. Anderson, and he wants to become the champion. Sadist just does an amazing job on the microphone, and the fact that he's really showing that he wants that title. This is something means to him. He's definitely showing that that's what a superstar needs to do. They need to have that kind of hunger. They need to have that kind of adrenaline, that determination to be the champion. He just does such an amazing job, and I like it. And even, here was something that was very interesting. People were chanting, Sadist's gonna kill you. I was even one of those fans to it. And he says, as much as I love that chant, I think Sadist's gonna spear you sounds better. It did, and it clicked throughout the night. So, very awesome. Great build up to the main event matchup. And Sadist almost got a spear on Joey Avalon, but Joey just says, nah. I'm too smart for that. And he walks away. We also got a nice little video package from Mr. Anderson saying, hey, I wish I would have been there, but unfortunately kind of screwed up on my scheduling, so he even called himself an idiot, which, it's like, hey, these things happen, man, no problem. But he says he will be at the show in July, July 22nd, I should say. He will indeed be there to defend the title against either Sadist or Joey Avalon, and that was a guarantee. It's just going to be great to see Mr. Anderson back in ACW defending that title. So we go on to the next matchup, which was Nick Colucci and Swoggle taking on the real Brock Hall and Logan Lynch with Nathan Gust in their corner. First of all, I would just like to say I loved the theme entrance song for Nick Colucci and Swoggle. It was basically like a heavier remix of You Got a Friend in Me, Randy Newman, just absolutely awesome. I loved it. It was just really cool, and it took me a while. I kind of listened to the lyrics. I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar. Oh my gosh, this is basically like heavy metal Toy Stories right here. I love it. This matchup, I had higher expectations for. I thought, this is going to be a great matchup. Some great, wrestling between all four of these men. Maybe some great heel tactics here and there from, the real Brock Hall, Logan Lynch, and Nathan Gust, who was, he had a nice arm brace on because he was still recovering from his shoulder injury. Again, Nathan Gust, if you're listening to this, dude, take care of yourself. And you know what, dude? Just speedy recovery to you, because we would love to see Swoggle versus Nathan Gust again. This matchup, though, the problem I had with it was that there were a lot of comedy bits with it. So this was kind of a more entertaining match, I guess, which, isn't always a bad thing, but I think that they just pushed it a little too far, where they just kept on doing a lot of funny stuff, and it was just like, I get it. I mean, Swoggle, he was an entertainer. He was, Hornswoggle in WWE. He was all about that great, entertainment stuff. But, there's just so much of it where it just got to be a little too much. And I'm just like, very interesting. And the ending really got me confusing, because I thought that Swoggle was the legal man. But somehow there was a blind tag made by Nick Colucci on Swoggle. Basically, Logan Lynch got involved, and Brock Hall was able to hit the unprettier, what was it called? The kill switch. There we go. I don't know what he's calling it. Maybe he calls it the Brock drop or the Hall of Pain in your face. I don't know. I don't know what he calls his finisher, but it was just that Christian kill switch maneuver. Pins Nick Colucci for the 1-2-3. Brock Hall and Logan Lynch get the victory. What I really loved, though, was the interaction that Nathan Gust had with not only Nick Colucci, but also with Swoggle, where he was just raking the eyes, and he was just almost tearing them. And I just see him just kind of like, licking his lips, licking his fingers a little bit, almost just like, he's just this crazy madman. Like he's going to just turn into a zombie and just be like, oh, yes, I'm going to just feast on this guy. I thought that was awesome. I made the joke because I thought, there's one point where he accidentally put his finger in somebody's nose, and I was just about to say, I actually asked him. I was kind of worried about that because I thought, I was going to ask you, how do those boogers taste? But thankfully he didn't. He told me like, no. I just got him in the eyes. Like, okay, that makes up for it. So, yeah, the matchup itself was still good, but there was too many, I guess, quote unquote, entertaining spots for me to really take it seriously. I don't know. I don't know. I had higher expectations for it. Maybe that's just me, but I just felt like, they made it too funny, and that's why it kind of made me think, it's okay. But, all in all, these guys are definitely really good in the ring. Nick Colucci, I've seen him a couple times. Really good. I love the chemistry that him and Swoggle had, where Nick Colucci was just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do like this entertaining stuff as much. He was just more focused on being the serious guy, and Swoggle's just like, hey, have some fun, man, let's go. Brock Hall and Logan Lynch are just absolutely phenomenal. Brock Hall could be like this generation's Chris Jericho. He just has the look, he has the athleticism, he's just very good. And Logan Lynch just, just naturally gifted, and just, I called him, genetically stacked, athletically gifted, athletically stacked. I'm trying to remember how I phrased it, but he just looks like a pure Adonis, really. He just looks the part. He does a great job. He's just got a great look, great moves. Absolutely amazing. We had a little intermission before going into the next matchup, which was Johnny Smash versus T-Dub3. T-Dub3, again, just showing a lot of his athleticism, his speed, high flying, fast-paced action. He just does a tremendous job in the ring. Johnny Smash, I'm still kind of getting a feel for, because this is the second match I've seen with him, and other than seeing him just basically chuck an apple all the way across an arena during his match with Carlito, I barely got a taste of the kind of athleticism and the the strength that this guy has. Holy crap. I mean, he basically did a Cesaro suplex to TW3, which impressed me. I'm like, oh wow, that takes a lot to do. But even that strength couldn't help him prevail because TW3 hit a nice little spin kick to the face of Johnny Smash, pinning him 1, 2, 3, and TW3 gets a victory. And hey, he's getting a title shot next month. So really awesome to see that. And TW3 does an amazing job. Johnny Smash, I definitely do see some potential with him. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him in the future. So looking forward to that. Next matchup on the card was kind of probably the low point because I think this matchup went on way too long. I knew that they were definitely hyping up Devlin Kane and Maru for some kind of tag team deal. I thought that they were going to maybe get involved with the whole Dream Police. I'm thinking, okay, this will be interesting. Great way to, have their first night here. They do it at the expense of the tag team champions. That was not the case. They instead took on this team of Randy Fitzsimmons and Willie Wild, the team of Randy and Wild, which first of all, as soon as I heard that name, I'm thinking to myself, is this like an Austin Powers-based tag team? Because, come on, Randy, baby, ooh, behave. And the Wild part, it just goes without saying. Again, this matchup felt like it went on way too long. It was basically back and forth action between the two of them. I thought that Devlin Kane and Maru were going to have more offense. They really didn't. It seemed like they just were kind of like a basic tag team. But I guess, you can't always have it be just, one side of dominance. But the ending I thought was kind of cool, where Devlin Kane picked up Maru, and hit him with like a one-handed spinebuster onto I think it was Randy, if I'm not mistaken. Just picks him up and just like rock bottoms his tag team partner on Randy and pins him 1, 2, 3. It was actually really cool, but like I said, the matchup I think went way too long, and it just felt like it was kind of their kind of matchup. I wish that they could have utilized Devlin Kane and Maru better than that, but I'm not going to criticize the management deal because when we talk about this main event matchup, there's no criticism here whatsoever. The main event matchup indeed was Sadist versus Joey Jet Avalon in a no disqualification matchup, and the winner would go on to face Mr. Anderson for the ACW title on July 22nd at Tanner's. Jeez Louise with this matchup. Everything about it was just amazing. Sadist hit a spear right off the bat. We saw just them just beating the hell out of each other with chairs and just basically killing each other. There were 2 points in the matchup where they almost threatened to throw each other out of the windows of the building. That was just completely insane. And it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, they better have like a safety net or something at the bottom. Because if these guys would have taken a wrong step and fallen out of the window, oh boy howdy, I would have loved to have seen the, oh man, that's just insane. Sadist just took a lot of chair shots to the back, took one to the head, just looked like an absolute pincushion of pain. Joey Avalon as well, just destroyed by Sadist's chair shots, slams, and just getting basically killed. I think he got hit with like 3 spears in the ring and was still able to kick out. Joey Avalon hit super kicks. He hits everything that he could. He even hit him with like multiple chair shots, but still Sadist would not go down. The finish was just absolutely amazing. Joey Avalon sets up Sadist on the top turnbuckle. Sadist pushes him away. Joey Avalon's thinking, I got you. Runs at him. Sadist hits a final spear from the top rope, and that just looked absolutely devastating. And pins Joey Avalon 1, 2, 3. Sadist gets his opportunity, and Sadis will face Mr. Anderson at the show in Tanner's. Whew, boy howdy, was that matchup just absolutely amazing. Definitely match of the night right there. Sadist and Joey Avalon, second time I've seen them, just awesome. Just awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys lock horns again. Maybe it'll be for the ACW heavyweight title. Who knows? Sadis has got to beat Mr. Anderson first. But we will see that in just in about a month, actually. But yeah, the matchups that are indeed announced for the show on July 22nd. So far what they have Sadis versus Mr. Anderson for the ACW Heavyweight Championship. They have Peter Schwann's defending the title, the ACW Water City title again. Oh my gosh, I think I might have screwed that up. The ACW Heavyweight title, Mr. Anderson defending against Sadis. The ACW Water City title, there we go. Peter Schwann's defending against Colin Brooks and TW3. And then an open challenge made by the Dream Police for the ACW Tag Team Championships. This is going to be really good, especially if they bring back the Brothers of Funstruction. That would be absolutely insane because, Brothers of Funstruction, holy cow, they did absolutely amazing. I was very impressed to see, this kind of dark, kind of clown gimmick that they did. Just really like what they did there. It's going to be just really awesome to see this matchup at Tanner's. And it takes place on July 22nd, you guys. The front row has been sold out, but there is still tickets available for that show. So please, by all means, you guys, go get some tickets and go invest in this show. It is absolutely awesome. Now we move on from the ACW show to the Wisconsin Pro Wrestling show, which I do not have the full results of what happened at their recent show, Gridlock, but I do know some of the things that are going to be happening at the Stadiumania show that takes place next month. So, we have Joey Avalon taking on Ben McCoy in a last man standing matchup. This matchup will either be the match of the night or it will be the most brutal match of the night, because I will tell you this, they put on a clinic at the Boiling Point show. This show at Gridlock, they had a contract signing for that matchup. It's going to be physical. It is going to be absolutely brutal what these guys do to each other. Joey Avalon picked up a victory by hitting Ben McCoy on a chair with the package pile driver. I can only imagine what they're going to do to each other when last man standing rules apply. They have Logan Lynch taking on Sadist at Stadiumania. It is basically the present versus the future. These guys are just very gifted, and it is going to be very interesting to see what happens when these two lock horns at Stadiumania, because they both really do want to be the top guy, but there's only room for one of them to be that person. And I think this matchup is definitely going to prove who that person is in WPW. I'm trying to think if there's any other matches that they announced. Special guest appearance, you guys, by the WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan. This is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to possibly meeting him, shaking his hand. This guy was basically what a real American hero was for professional wrestling. You have to believe that. First ever Royal Rumble winner. Hacksaw Jim Duggan is a bona fide Hall of Famer for a reason. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table at WPW Stadiumania. And the main event for Stadiumania has indeed been signed. There was a number one contendership matchup that was taking place at Gridlock, in which Colin Brooks and Mr. Jordy Lee, they fought each other to a time limit draw. So the management ruling was that whoever was the champion at the end of the night, they would face off against both Colin Brooks as well as Jordy Lee at the Stadiumania event, and that champion would be Adam Grace. So we are not only getting a rematch from the Boiling Point show, but we're also getting Jordy Lee thrown into the mix. I'm very interested in seeing how well he plays into this matchup. It's a triple threat matchup for the WPW heavyweight title. Adam Grace defending against Colin Brooks and Jordy Lee. This matchup is going to be very intense. I am hoping through every single bone in my body that Colin Brooks gets back the title, because I loved the fact that the night that Boiling Point occurred, Colin Brooks beat Adam Grace at the start of the night, and it was just a great moment. It was just great for him to win the title in front of his friends, in front of his family, and then at the end of the night to have that all taken away from him. Colin Brooks is definitely going to be my odds-on favorite, because I feel like he's hungry. He's had a taste of the title, but it's time for him to get that, just to get more of that. And I think that he's going to stop at absolutely nothing until he gets that title at that title. So, all honesty, you guys, a lot going on, especially next month. Like I said, tickets for the I'm trying to remember which one it was. Tickets for the Tanner show, like I said, you can get them at acwwisconsin.com. Front row has already been sold out, but you can still get second seat row as well as a couple other spots. General admission price. The Stadiumania show is going to be absolutely amazing. They're starting off their tickets at $12. I do believe that for them, their front rows are sold out as well. I could be wrong, but I will have more information on Tuesday, when AJ and I do another Raw reaction. So that is my thoughts. ACW show was good. There were a couple of downers that I was kind of hoping more from, but I'm not going to criticize the entire show, because all these guys definitely put their bodies and their lives on the line. Definitely showing a lot of appreciation to them. Hashtag support indie wrestling, you guys, because these guys still put on some great matches. And no, they're not all about, just finisher, kick out, dive, Mr. Randy Orton. They're all about the heart and the passion and just showing fans that wrestling matters to everyone. So thank you guys so much for joining me here for this review. Of course, you guys, next week will be Raw Reaction. Hopefully, we will get an edition of Smack Talk next week as well. Change the F Up will be making its return next week, Wednesday. We will be reviewing Wonder Woman, myself and Victory Bell. Also next weekend will be Money in the Bank, so beforehand you can guarantee that we are going to be doing our predictions, myself versus Spencer Hart, where the loser will have to take the blazing challenge from Buffalo Wild Wings. And honestly, you guys, it's one of those things where it's like, oh boy, we're going to be shooting out fire out of our butts for probably weeks, depending on how this goes. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. Of course, you can always follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/ER Network 24/7, as well as on Twitter, ER Network 24/7. Yeah, how convenient that they're both the same. You can follow me on Twitter at NateEffingGreat. Thank you guys so much for joining me here, and let me know what you guys want to see. Would you like to see me do more review stuff, or would you like to see me maybe do a, how things should have been booked? I am actually planning on doing one of those. I'll probably try to get it out next week. Concerning the poor booking this past year of Bray Wyatt, I'm going to rebook that, and it's going to be absolutely can't miss. So, a lot to look forward to next week, you guys. But until then, I am going to probably get some rest before work tonight. So, thank you guys so much for joining me here, and see you guys next week. Bye-bye.